Hi, I'm Scott Brooks of Vintage Acton, local historian for Acton and surrounding area, and in today's video we'll be taking a step back in time looking at this early photo of Acton from 170 years ago, which actually is from 1854. Now over the course of so many years, Acton has seen various changes, and as you can see, it looks a lot different than it does today, doesn't it? Well, I'm going to go over those points with you in this video. Now, first of all, what we can see in this early photo is that it was taken by a photographer from Owen Sound who was commissioned by the Grand Trunk Railway to do surveying for the area. Now, this photo predates the Grand Trunk Railway by 2 years, as the Grand Trunk Railway came to Acton in 1856. Now, first of all, what we notice in the foreground of this photo is of the mill. Now, interestingly, this mill had been here for 20 years prior to this photo being taken, and is actually still the site of where a mill is to this very day on Mill Street West. Now, moving along a little bit further, of course we have a mill, so we needed water power, and right here is the mill pond, which was what it was known as at that time as the mill pond back in 1854. Which is now, as what we know, Ferry Lake, which was used to power the mill. And then a little bit further back in the middle ground, shall we say, is another familiar site which would soon become Prospect Park. Now, at this time, when the photo was taken, it was actually the site of prospective real estate and wasn't meant to be a park. It was actually meant to be so many units of housing built on that park. Now, thankfully, decades after this photo was taken in the 1880s, the village council had the foresight in buying it and saving it as recreational land, which now we can enjoy as Prospect Park. Now, moving a little bit back, we can actually see the forested area here along the back of this photo. And that is where the Grand Trunk Railway would eventually end up in 1856, clearing the land and making the way for this major transportation development. Now, another thing I'd like to mention about this whole photo is that we're pretty much seeing all of Acton as it was at that time, because Acton was only a population of about 200 people during the time that this photo was taken, so not very big. There's maybe a little bit more outside of the frame here, but not too much more. And one last final note I'd like to mention about this photo is this little white building here. Well, it's not really little, it's actually a 2-story clapboard house. And actually, that was built as the first Presbyterian church in 1848 and was used as a Presbyterian church until the new one was built at the corner of Main and Knox Street in 1895. Now, following after the construction of the new church, parishioner and carpenter James Cameron bought the building, flipped it 90 degrees to face the street, which now is residential units, and still exists to this very day, which is pretty neat to see that that is one of the only remaining buildings left within this photo. And that is an early look at Acton from 1854. Thank you.